Hey, what's up? How y'all doing? This is Kale, the Wanderer, about to give it to you, like you seen the footage of a flying saucer. My guest today is Mary Wieckowski. I said that right.
Yeah, Mary Ann Wieckowski. Yeah, that's why I
Mary
call
Ann Wieckowski.
M A muscle because it's easier to say.
Yeah, it's just, it's like Mary, but it's Mary Ann. Okay.
But Mary Ann, I always know when people don't know me when they call me Mary. I'm like, oh
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
you're gonna act
Yeah,
like.
yeah, I mean, it seemed like we know each other, but we ain't formally kind of introduced like that.
Yes, true, very true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Thank
So,
you, on.
huh?
Thank you very much for having me on.
Nah, thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk with you. You know,
Sure.
yeah, yeah. It's not very easy to kind of ask somebody to be like, hey, would you like to be? Would you give me the opportunity to interview you, or would you like to be on my podcast and stuff? You
Yeah,
know.
that's a shame. You think it would be, you think it would be easy, the thing that it's not, and I think it's just because of what a lot of women do
You
for.
can I ask you something? Do you have headphones?
I do, but I can't hook them to my phone. I don't know. Do you have
Oh,
reverse?
okay. Because it's like in and out. That's why
Oh, yeah, I don't think I
I
can
can
do that.
hear you, but
Oh, you know what?
yeah, yeah.
Gym bag, just a matter of where I put them.
I can hear you, but it's just like the it sounds like in and out. So that's why.
Let's see. I have them. Damn it. No, I don't think I'm not sure where they
All
went.
right.
We'll check.
Well, let's do the best we can. Let's say what you were saying.
All right, what was I saying?
We was talking about it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy for me to invite people as a guest. And you were saying that I think people have trust issues or something like that, similar to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you don't mind, I can start. From my background and kind of go that
All
way.
right, no
Okay with
problem, no problem.
you. Let's see. I am. My name is Mary Ann. I'm 50 years old. Uh, uh, funny to start out with. We had a little bit of this conversation talking to just one another topic, but
I can't. That is the sound.
sound
It's
is
in and out.
damn it.
Take your time. Don't rush too much.
I'm just looking at the settings to see. All right, is that any better?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Um,
Just keep going. That's all. Mm.
is that any better?
Yeah, I hear you perfectly.
We'll go with that. Okay. Um, yeah. So I started out many years ago. And when I was a kid, okay, so I grew up in the I was born in '64. For women, you didn't have a lot of, uh, there wasn't a lot of sports, and things were just kind of get rolling for women at that point in sports. And I saw bodybuilders on television.
Yeah.
That was when you could see them on television, when ESPN sports station covered a wide range of sports, not just men, but I think the women got a lot of because men were already at men on stage. Well, I was fascinated. Um, I loved muscle. I exciting. Thought it was cool. And then as I got older, I'm also going to talk about the Olympic. That was the first time I saw
Yeah.
like no threatened girls that had a lot of muscle,
Yeah.
had no, and still, because they're threatened, um, solid, solid butt, solid legs, solid. Loved it. So I was always athletic. I played sports. My main sport was softball, and uh, you know, for me, I didn't really like school. I hated school, but I liked sports. Okay, so I went to school to play sports. And I was also upset as an adolescent growing up because I thought because I was a girl, I wasn't going to play sports because it was so dominant. Uh, but
I
again,
can't. The sound is.
it's
I'm
really
sorry. The sound. Yeah, it's in the mouth.
you. Yeah, let me find my headphones. Can we
Yeah. I,
or
I'll wait. I'll wait. It's okay. Find your headphones.
I just got back.
Yeah, I'm gonna display some pictures. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, let's try this.
Okay.
Is that any better?
Yeah. But just
Oh
keep
yeah.
talking. We'll see. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's hope. So let's see. So I played sports through high school. Softball, the main one, but again, the thought when you played sports when you were young was to have a love for the sport, to introduce new sports to kids. Um, so I played softball. Then went into winter, played basketball, was a point guard for Neshaminy High School. Then I played a little field hockey, but I didn't like it because they didn't have lacrosse then. But I played a little bit of field hockey, but I didn't like because they made me wear a skirt. I hated that, and you couldn't swing. A high stick was right above your shoulder, so it was kind of like,
Yeah.
and they would call stuff like, so I didn't like, and you were always bent over, so I didn't like that. Um, then I got a job at a gym when I was maybe 18, and people really liked my symmetry. I had shoulders, nice waist, big quads, obviously for catching. Uh, and then I always got the argument: Are you a power lifter, Should you be a power lifter or should you be a bodybuilder? Power lifter, and they would fight. People would fight. Would go, oh, she's a power lifter, and so uh, I met a nice young man who was a little younger than me actually. So I think I was like 19. He was 17 and real knowledgeable. 17 years old, and he started coaching me. So I started bodybuilding. If you look online, you know how they usually tell you there's sites where they'll tell you your career, like how many shows you were in. Well, they're missing
Okay.
like the whole body, like where I started, because I was Miss Tri County. I have a bunch of awards, downstairs from when I was young and natural. Didn't take anything, and eventually, um, then I got married. I had two children. Then the marriage fell apart. Um,
Mhm.
and when the marriage fell apart, all I wanted to do was box. I was very upset for months. I cried day after day because it was like losing my right arm. I was very
Yeah.
surprised, and yet at the same time, I thought that, well, I'm gonna get back into what I love because the kids were older, right? So it was time, that I could finally dedicate some time to myself. So I started boxing, and you can't fight a lot of women. There's not a lot of women that'll fight you. So I fought a lot of men, which was perfect because I was pissed. It was it was therapy. Honest to God, it's true.
Don't tell
So
me you knocked. Don't tell me you knocked somebody out.
maybe one or two.
Oh.
So yeah, I mean, we had headgear, the whole 9 yards, and it was funny because typically, and this would really upset me. Um, a guy would come into the ring. We'd be all ready. We'd have our headgear on, or we're all wrapped up, gloves on, Vaseline, mouth guard, everything. And the guy at the other court, we're waiting for the bell to ring, and the guy would go, "I'm not sure if I could hit a girl," and I would go, "Perfect." and
Oh
and
boy.
and it usually took about three really good jabs to the face.
Mm.
I'd come in and boom, 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 right there. They could hit me,
Yeah.
but you had to make them count because intimidation is a lot of any sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I found that usually it's about three good jabs to the face, and then we could fight. But there was I can't tell you. There was many times I wanted to quit, but I'm just that's just not in my DNA. So I would go as long as I could go. And now this wasn't like I mean, we were in a ring and it was serious, but we didn't go
Yeah.
10 rounds. I think we went 3 rounds, and believe me, that was enough. 3 minutes a round. That's people don't understand the boxing, the training that goes into that. I mean, we jumped rope. Uh, it was an air conditioned gym. It wasn't cardio boxing. It was serious training boxing, and
Yeah.
I loved it. So I did that for a couple years, and then I powerlifted for many years. I have a bunch of world records and state records. My daughter started to powerlift with me, and she has.
How was that? How
It
how
was
was like the power lift?
it was great. It was I loved it. It's very see. I've always been wired like I like the I anything you can do where I would be stronger than a guy was just it would just lit me up. Like I did CrossFit for a while, and I would do the men's prescribed weights, and I would clean and jerk, snatch, all those wonderful exercises, and I loved it. But it's really, I love CrossFit. I love the way that the women look, but it's, I believe that it's not like you would, then all of a sudden it was so popular, you started to see people get off the couch and try to do it, and you're like, you have no background. There's so much to weight training and doing it correctly and knowing your body and how it should move to do certain exercises. Um, now you see football players doing Olympic lifts in the gym, high schoolers. But my concern for that is doing it correctly. In CrossFit, you mix weight and speed, and you got to be careful. And I'm the type of girl that I'm wired where my coach is right here. They've been some of the best people in my life, and they know how I'm wired. And they're like, I had my softball coach. I would come up to bat, and the bases loaded, and he'd be like, "There they are." You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
knew, he had that confidence in me. Where if a coach was, you can do it, you can do it, like on me, I would really try to do it.
Yeah.
The problem with that is as you age, um, what I call what I do now with bodybuilding is controlled risk, and women need to understand that our bones get brittle. I've never broken a bone. I'm 59, and believe me, I'm not. I'm a tomboy through and through, pretty much until I put my dress on. But I love being able to talk sports and then wear a dress and look pretty. I like that combination. So I'm sorry, I'm getting off track a little bit. So I ran into uh, my first coach at a
Yeah.
gym local. Now, back then we didn't have cell phones. We didn't. Social media wasn't a thing. So we ran into each other, and then right out of the gate, we were like, let's finish what we started. So we started training together, getting ready to compete again. And I competed with him for a couple years. And then I
I'm assuming
realized
this is the 90s.
by this time it's the 2000s because I raised the
Oh, okay.
kids. I didn't have the kids till in the 90s. I had the kids in the 90s. So
Oh,
when I had the kids, I coached. I coached their teams, and I was very involved in them. I still trained, but not. They were priority.
yeah.
So then got into the powerlifting, then got back into bodybuilding, and I was old. I was older, but it was great. So I stayed with him for a couple of years. His name was Brian Kime, great guy. And then I switched to. I was going through. Um, Anybody that lives near me, there might be stores like this near you. It's called the Q Mart. They're like marts, and they have all little different stores, right? Well, they had like a magazine store. So I'm in there, and I go down the naughty area that's 18 or over, and it catches my eye. I look down, and I'm like, that's a bodybuilder. What? Why? First of all, why are they on the bottom shelf, right? And it was muscle pinups. So my friend Denise Messino, who I've uh, known for many years, and she is a number one. She's a sexy beast.
Yeah.
Number two, she is the kindest, really good friend. She's we've talked, and many times I don't have anybody to turn to. I call Denise, and she calms me down, and she knows the kind of person I am, but really nice lady. But anyway, her ex-husband had a little. He did all her photography, or a lot of her photography, for the magazine. So he had a little. His phone number was in the magazine and his email. So I emailed him. Now imagine, okay, that magazine was old, and once the internet came around, it pretty much killed that business.
Yeah.
And then it went. They had to go a different direction and go online. but he responded. So when he responded, I shot with the magazine for many years, and he's my coach. Still is my coach. Matter of fact, I'll talk to him today at some point. But we're very good friends. He's a great guy. So that was um, basically after I was with him. The first thing when I got with him, first thing out of his mouth was, looked at my physique and he said, "Well, you got about you're at least a year out from the stage." I was like, "A year out? Come on." That's a long time, right? Well, you know what? He was completely right. And one of the reasons why I really liked Robert was that I saw the women that he'd worked with. I saw Denise, and I saw, um, gosh, all you got to do is look through the magazine, saw all the girls that he had coached,
Yeah.
and they were gorgeous. They were sexy. They were everything that I wanted to be. They had. They weren't over the top, uh, really bad, steroided, ugly faces and um, skin. It was a nice balance, you know. And I can't say enough about him. He was great. I went pro in 2019, um, and competed competitively or professionally. My first year, I should have got a first. I got a second and a third. Uh, then the next year, I got an 11th. Well, now COVID was in the middle of that. So then
Yeah.
COVID came in, and then I came back and I got an 11th. And then this past year, I just competed at the Pittsburgh, and I'm not sure they even knew I
How
was there.
how how was that? Because I seen you compete.
Did
Did
you?
what was it? Yeah, I because I was watching it through Always George Page live, and he
Oh,
was
nice.
yeah, he was
Commentating.
showing the masters and yeah, commentating
Oh,
the masters and
nice.
stuff.
I love him.
Yeah, I see you like even in your IG, you had your bikini, you looked it nice, and
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
what happened with that with the.
Well, I think in my interpretation, and again, I'm not going to make any friends, but I had this year for me was tough. I had a lot of anxiety. I went through some depression.
Um,
Uh, I didn't really like the way that the organization was going. I mean, there's always issues in bodybuilding, and I don't want to sound like I mean, I knew I wasn't number one. I knew I
no,
wasn't number two. I knew I wasn't number three. Knew I wasn't number four. After that, hmm, I don't know. I don't know what they're. I almost get the feeling like, first of all, the way that the Pittsburgh is run is it starts I think on Tuesday, okay, and it runs all the way to Sunday. The pros are on Sunday, okay, and those judges are dead. They're dead. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not being mean. I'd be dead. Like, I don't know how they do it and look at all those people and are able to, and that they don't blur. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Especially bikini. Whenever I'm in a show and they don't have the bikini girls in another day, and now it's bikini and wellness, I'm just like, because there's so many of them and they look the same. I'm sorry.
yeah,
That's just how I feel. Um, I just it's hard. But anyway, they had the Olympia, right? The Masters Olympia a couple weeks before.
yeah,
So I think what it seems happened because many of them were at the Pittsburgh. Um, I think they went all out to get to the Olympia, They took more stuff and took more stuff, and by the time then they stopped because they better stop or they're gonna die.
Yeah.
They get to the Pittsburgh, and for the most part, I think there was only two that were in my division that they pulled out, but the other ones did not look good. They didn't look good. They didn't look healthy. Their skin looked bad. Um,
The
I,
competitors?
yes, yeah, that were in the
Oh,
Olympics. I just think that so, but I think that there's no way that you're going to be an Olympian and come back to compete a couple weeks later and not place. I think
yeah.
that's how they looked. That's how they looked at it. And then there was just other girls that that I'd seen backstage and went, okay, no problem, I got that. You know what I mean? Um, so it is what it is. I love the girls. One of my most favorite things is competing with the over 50, masters because they're such. Most of us. There's still some catty ones, but most of us aren't catty, and we are friends, and we can talk, and and that's great.
Yeah.
So I'm,
Well, you well, you said a lot, and there's some things I want to cover too, like with the boxing thing, how far did you go with that? Like you was like you didn't you
no, I
like
didn't.
compete?
Well, here's the problem. Well, first of all, I did it for like two years, okay,
Yeah,
and it was a 2 hour training like every day, okay, and no air conditioning, okay. We would have guys come that worked in machine shops, and they
yeah,
in heat all day, and they would come in the box, and he didn't give a shit. The coach, coach
yeah.
trying to make him better. Um, but here's my issue. Okay, my arms are very short. They're
Okay.
very short. My coach would go, "You see everybody in this gym? They all have longer arms than you.
Yeah, you gotta have
My,
that reach.
you
Yeah,
gotta have a reach." They
yeah.
called me. My nickname was Tyson, which I
Right.
love Mike Tyson. I grew up watching Mike Tyson. Um, but my issue was I couldn't be here, right? Throw the jab. I
Right.
had to have you here. So you had to be right in here so I could even reach you, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Are you
but if
short?
I'm
You
five
how short
four,
are you?
five
Oh
four.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, how and what was like your opponent? Was he like 6 feet or he was taller than you, right?
I fought them all.
Oh,
I fought some short who didn't have much of a chance if they weren't real, you know,
mm,
uh, didn't have a lot of experience. I mean, we had every now and again he would have guys that he knew. The coach would have guys that he knew come in, and they would come in, their swag. They'd have suits on from work, right?
yeah,
And it's like a typical, when you love this stuff, uh, you know, Brad would go, dude, you want to spar? Sparring, and they knew it was sparring night. It was Thursday night. It was sparring night, and that guy would just start unbuttoning his shirt and make a fool out of you. Like they're just so good in the way that they move around you, and then they're out, and I could never get you because they're so fast with my arms. But yeah, so I had some really good competition that I saw. Just again, and this is just a gym. It's
yeah,
not for anything, but just loving the fight.
yeah,
When I first started, I wasn't sure. I'm like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm gonna like. I always wanted to do it, but you never know until you're in there and you're getting hit in the face, and you're like,
yeah,
I might not like it. But I should have known better because for me, if I got hit in the face, it was like a way. It was like, oh, you mother, you know what I mean? And then if I tasted my blood or something,
it was
that was
it was
that. I
over.
was just, it was no, it was on. I was like, I'm gonna kick your you know what I mean? So but I loved it. I really
You
did.
never
But
did.
now
You know. No, I was just going. You never did like martial arts or like I don't know if they had MMA at the time, but
no,
you
they
never took
really didn't
like.
have
Uh,
they didn't have that. They
mm,
they didn't have lacrosse, they didn't have MMA came later when I was older,
yeah,
and by that time
yeah.
my knees were so trashed.
Oh,
My daughter, who's 25, she's she's more grappler boxer, and I've taught her how to box. And she's taller than me, so she's taller. She's got longer arms, so she's
yeah.
definitely better at that than me. Um, we listen to Joe Rogan all the time. Uh, but yeah, she's great. But for me, it didn't happen till later, which I would have loved to have done that. But it's
Yeah.
timing.
Yeah. Well,
And
you
now,
got some friends. You got some friends on the chat real quick.
oh, do
You
I?
got
Yay!
yeah, Fernando Santos. I love female muscle, and you got your best buddy, all the rage George Page.
My George, my George. Let's see if I have abs still showing. I've been eating too much. You see him?
Yesterday he was getting on my case because I wanted to interview you. It's like, yo, you gonna
What's he?
interview my woman? I'm like, look, man. I'm like, look, I'm not gonna marry her. I'm not taking her out on a date, man. I just want to talk to her, man. That's it, man. Stop.
Oh, I
And
love
so
George.
in a heavyweight fight, you got 3 minutes and you can get knocked out in the first round. Face orange, raise face orange, raise eyebrow.
Oh, I
And,
love him. He's
yeah,
great. He's great. What a great. He's a great
he
guy.
also say anything people see they think they can do until reality sets in. And you got
It's
my
true.
friend Lawrence Perkins. Good afternoon, Mary Ann, Clyde, and everyone
Lawrence.
on the chat. Yeah, you got a
Yeah.
lot of friends. You
Good.
got a
That's
lot of
good.
yeah, you got a lot of
Yeah.
friends.
Nice. Well, that's nice.
Yeah,
That's nice to have.
yeah,
I just like to help people. I try. I'm a very bad liar,
right,
so I try. What I say, I've learned to say a couple things like in my interpretation, because everybody thinks differently.
right.
And I was starting to tell George yesterday that I had a guy I was going back and forth with, and he was going on about how he said he was scared to tell me something, and right away I'm like, oh geez, here it comes. Here it comes. They're either doing something that I don't want to know right now what they're doing, or who knows, right? And he says, I really like female bodybuilders, but I don't tell anybody. I don't tell my friends. I don't, you know, and I said that it always amazes me because I'm like, and then he started talking about when he got into liking, which is really the same as me, other than I'm heterosexual. It was more about being a woman, knowing the work that it takes, feeling. Can you imagine feeling when there's a guy next to me at CrossFit doing pull-ups, and I'm kicking his ass, dropping down and doing push-ups, and I'm leaving him in the dirt. I love that. I just the feeling of being strong and powerful. Um, I just love. I think it's great, uh, and I love helping people. I love helping women. I love helping women that give up. I talk to women all the time, and they'll say, "What do you do for your abs? How many times a week do you work out your abs?" And I go, "Once." And they go, "What's the best exercise? What's the
You said how
secret
many,
tip?"
this times you work on your abs? You just how many
Once,
days? Just one
once.
day you work on
hmm
it?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, just once. Because you figure a lot of the other things that I do, like when you squat, it's a, you're still holding your core tight, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
But and they go, "What's the best exercise?" And I go like this, And they don't know, what the freak I'm talking about, and it's what you eat, and I try to explain. I said, and then the girl will go, "Ah, I can't eat any less," and I'm like, that's the problem. I said, your
Yeah.
body is a machine, and food is fuel. If
Yeah.
you don't drink enough water, you know what happens?
Right.
You hold water. Okay, you hold water. If you don't eat enough food, you know what happens? The food goes into storage, into your fat cells. Okay,
Yeah.
you because it thinks that you're not going to feed them again, so it's going to go right into your fat. If you were here and you could touch me, I am burning up. My metabolism is constantly hot. My boyfriend is always, Jesus, he goes, you're like a flaming furnace. And I said, well, you'll like me in the winter, to warm me up. But
Yeah.
so it's a it's a health style change. You make little make little changes in your day to day to make good habits. My skin is real, I did put a little oil on. It's thin, right? And it's warm. A lot of people, you go to grab their skin and it's like, I can't even grab it here. I could probably grab it here. I don't know, maybe not. Okay. I mean, it's still tight,
Yeah.
you know? It's
Yeah.
tight.
It's solid.
It's solid. So, but there's women, do you ever see the women they have? It's almost, for lack of better terms, I'll call it like blubber because it's thick. It's thick and it's cold. So, yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
exemplifying.
nah, it's all right. I want to piggyback on the guy that kind of like he's secretive to tell. So he's secretive about like expressing that he likes women with muscles.
Got it
You
all.
know,
I
because
get it all the time. All the time.
yeah, because people get clowned. You know, I work at the library, and before I worked at the library, I would just be in the computer room and stuff like that, draw female muscles, like women with muscles or animate them and stuff like that.
Oh,
And
that's
people
great.
would, yeah, and people would like say some comments like with women, men, and all that stuff, disgusting and all that stuff. They would give me the looks. And
Yeah.
I didn't have a computer at the time, so I always
Yeah.
go to the library and I would even do video slides. And every time I would get like these looks from men and women, like they would just give me like this awkward look. And like even friends, they would tell me like, yo, she's
Yeah.
diesel, man. What's wrong with you? It's like I, like I think when I was like, it kind of reminded me of the Bionic Woman and Wonder Woman and stuff. I used to
Yes.
watch that when I was a
Love them.
kid.
I
Yeah,
like the
and
Bionic
it,
Man. I'm waiting
yeah,
for my titanium knees. my bionic my bionic knees. Yeah, I
yeah.
love that.
So
See, we grew up in such a great time.
yeah,
When they
yeah.
had that stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's
So
crazy
like,
though, isn't it?
yeah, so like during like the years, like in my like preteens, I started looking at them like in the magazines. And I had to be like 14 or 15 or something. And I'm looking at it, I'm like curious, like, wow, how strong are they? And then, like getting the magazines and, doing volcanic eruptions with that. And, I would watch it. I would be like you looking at them on TV and stuff. I would even try to like work out myself.
Yeah,
So, but,
motivating. It's
yeah, but
motivating. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and but I noticed that it's not really popular. It wasn't like a popular sport like that,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
And
it's really uh I'm they brought in the wellness category, and I understand that the big booty is in, but do you understand what they say is the criteria for that, like the rules? And
you could tell me.
it's funny because, like in figure, if you go online, okay, and you look at the NPC rules, you look at the IFBB rules for each division,
Hmm.
okay, to me that it's absurd. It's ridiculous. They'll say that the figure girls shouldn't have any striations. I'll just leave that one right there because that one I know is in there. Okay. The figure girls now are in high heels. Okay. They don't do a posing round. They just kind of come out and do their three. They have like three poses that they do.
Okay.
They wear high heels and they are basically physique, women's physique. It's gone to the point where they are women's physique competitors. They have striations. They are just as built as women's physique, most of them.
Yeah, somebody told me that. Somebody
Oh
had
my
told me that.
God, man, it's insane. But um, I certainly understand the reason. My first pro show, I got second. I got $300.
Mm,
My second pro show, I got third, and I got nothing because they didn't pay anybody.
mm,
Um, it's just. But if I was in figure, I would have gotten more money. Okay,
yeah.
so they're paying, and from what I understand, and I've talked to some judges, the sponsors are able to dictate where they want the money to go. So, which I think is incredible bullshit because I'm like, if I want to promote a sport and I have $10,000 to give you, I want it to go, and I might split it between men and women, okay? Because men, I'm not worried about the men. I'm worried about the women, okay? Because they're not getting anything, okay? So I would give the money to every division of the women, okay? You have Jim Mannion, okay? He was just in the Washington Post. They just had that big spiel about how all the abuse that was going on. Well, I got news for you. That shit is old. And if you're a woman, this shit has been going on since the beginning of time. It is what
Mm.
it is. It will continue to happen. I even had another thing happen to me last week at the show, which I couldn't believe that the man said this to me, and he is in an area of position.
Mm.
Okay, and I'm not gonna. I don't want to say what he said at the moment, but
Okay.
But this is the kind of stuff that goes on and all the time. Jim Mannion is a photographer, right? He's a brother of the Mannions. They run everything, right? He will walk back in the training room, okay, and he won't even look at me. He won't even look at my women's physique ladies, my bodybuilder. He'll go right over to the bikini girls, and
Yeah.
right next to them. Oh wow, you look great, you look beautiful. And the girls, the bikini girls are the same way. They're fawning over this creeper, and I, it's crazy. Again, if you're gonna have a photographer, man, you think that people don't want to see us? They do. They do. They say I'm not marketable. I never get a sponsorship. Do you see these? Do you know how much these girls have to struggle and financially unless they get a sponsor? This year I am so in the hole because I had to pay money to get into the Pittsburgh show this year. I didn't even get a goodie bag this year. I got a T-shirt, and I spent 2, 4, 6. I spent about $1,000 just to be in his show between the tanning, the makeup, the photographer, the entry fee. I crossed over and went into another, which I usually don't do. Um, I
I
don't
got a
know.
question for you.
Hmm.
Like like knowing that, the stuff that you go through, what makes you like continue doing it? Because there's bodybuilders that have come and go,
Yeah.
since like the 90s, 2000s. What makes you kind of You've been doing this for like how many years? Like 30 something
Over
years?
35, yeah, 35 years.
35
Yeah.
years. What
Yeah, I
what
mean,
makes
I'm
you
59.
what makes you like continue doing this sport? Going through all this stuff that you telling me.
Well, it's funny because it never really was an issue till this past year when I think, the Washington Post came out, and then I started to see they were listing, uh, different shows would list the prize money,
Yeah.
and I was like, what? Yeah, I looked at it like, why am I doing this? I mean, I nothing's gonna stop me from doing bodybuilding. I made a gym in my house. I have a regular house, and I don't have a lot of money, but I slowly pieced the gym together. And my Christmas presents were lat pull down and sets of dumbbells, and I got a great gym now. I mean, it took me a while, but so now if it snows, I'm home. Now I'm always home now because if I go
Yeah.
to a gym, it's hard to get through a workout because a lot of people talk to you, and I enjoy talking to people. But so I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. But as far as I I don't like the idea of making money for people that I don't like, you
Right.
know, and I think that they are making a ton of mistakes. I think it could be much, much better. Um, they have to do something because I think, and to tell you the truth, when I was at this show, me and the girls, we had a lot of this conversation, and we were
Mm.
all very not happy.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Um, I've even been thinking about going to different organizations, and it's funny because I want to get healthy. And this is the other thing is I feel like shit. Like once I got up to this show, I mean, I was really feeling bad. My heart was racing, from using different fat burning supplements, and
Yeah.
I just stopped. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm gonna have a heart attack. I'm gonna be the next
Yeah.
one on Instagram saying she's dead. You know, so I stopped, and then I felt a lot better, and then I realized, you know what? I'm a pro. All these women that I'm going to compete against are pros. It was my dream. It was my dream to become a pro. It's still surreal. I had to fight to get there, and I need to love that and enjoy that. But now I think it's time for me to keep doing what I'm doing.
Hold on for a
But
second. I'm gonna
yep,
put this
sure.
thing. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is we were in Pittsburgh, we went out on a boat ride with this gentleman rented us a boat, and his daughter. He brought his 14-year-old daughter with him, and me, being a old ex-coach, athlete, mom, grandmom. I said to her, I looked at her and I was like, "Do you play sports?" She looked like she did. She's pretty solid, And she goes, "No," and I went, "Why not? Why not? You did not like it, And somehow or another, we got on the boxing. So now I'm working with her, teaching her boxing. Now we're not real close, so we'll do it on Skype and stuff. But I um, I would love to work with young girls, young kids, teach them how to protect themselves, how to defend themselves, and all of that comes with discipline. It's all intertwined. Do you know what I'm saying? Hey, there
That's,
she is. There's my girl. Yeah, that's my
yeah.
granddaughter. And yeah,
Yeah.
what a doll baby she is. Spitfire.
Yeah.
And it's funny because she's a girly girl. You see that blonde hair? I'm actually taking it in. She's cheerleading right now.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't like. I love the cheerleading uniform and I do all that, but I know a lot of people that have had daughters that I've said, depending on where they go to school, depending on who's coaching them. I had two girls that I know that one hurt her back, one hurt her, broke her arm. Because if you're
Yeah.
strong, they got you
Right.
catching, and then they get hurt.
Uh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, so I really would like um, to help people. And you know what? I don't
Yeah.
even, and I'm very bad at business. You know, I don't even, to tell you the truth, I don't even want the money. I want to help these people, and whether it
Yeah.
be wherever it is, I just want to help them, give them some little information, try to help them along, give them encouragement, motivation. You know, because you know what, you never know what's going on in people's houses. People get upset, people get depressed. You know what the gym is for
Yeah.
me? It's my therapy. If I go there
Yeah.
and
A
want to,
lot of.
if I, it's so true, right?
Yeah.
You know, I love the clanging of the weights, clank, 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 clank. I love it.
Yeah. I noticed that, like I hear a lot of women, they were like before they were, bodybuilding, they wasn't in a good place. They were like some were like drug abusive, drug abusing, and or they were sick,
Yep.
and just being in the gym, it helped them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Well, it's funny that you said that because I've been lately. It seems like I've been seeing a lot of you go into Walmart or whatever, and I've been
Right.
seeing a lot of people that have been, for recovering addicts and stuff like that, that have a little booth or whatever, little table. And I've gone over to talk to because of course they call you over,
Yeah.
and then we just start talking, and I'm like, what do I understand that this is a day to day, and there's stuff all over the TV with the opioid epidemic, and you
Yeah.
know, and they say that it's a day to day thing for like the rest of their lives that they have to fight through. But what I find is you got to coach yourself every day, whether it's depression, anxiety, um, that craving, and you got to replace it, try to replace it with something. And for me, the gym and doing something athletically just it makes me feel good here. It once you start getting into it and you start going, oh, I'm kind of hard here. What is that? You see these little muscles appear, little victories. You know what I mean? And have you seen other women my age?
Like, like talk to them.
Just see them. Do you know? I'm
Oh,
59. I'm
just.
almost 60.
Well, I
So
mean,
as far as body
like
and
once in a while I'll see a woman like you, like in the
mhm.
park,
Yeah,
and I would just be mesmerized and stuff.
you
I've
do,
talked to
aren't
women
you?
with muscle.
I'm mesmerized.
Yeah,
I may get mesmerized.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's
I recently did a little muscle worship too. So
nice. That's
yeah.
interesting. The
So
first time I had one, it was very interesting because it's but that now I understand more about it. I'll tell you a funny story. So back from Pittsburgh, I have my craving for my Chinese food, and I go into this place that I love locally, and the one gentleman knows me. He's a tall guy, and it's a restaurant. So we're sitting there eating, and he saw me come in, and he comes right over, and he knew I was competing. He's like, "How'd you do?" And then he starts coming at me with the
yeah,
hands, and he's like, can I touch you?" And I'm not shy, so I go, "Oh, sure." So he like, he grabs me. I mean, I've had my doctor, my orthopedic doctor. Uh, he's called me a genetic freak. He said, he says, I cannot believe at your age that you've been able to put on muscle, because
right,
usually it starts to, it goes down. And he's like, can I feel your traps?
yeah.
Absolutely. It's such a nice,
You look like looking at you. You look like Lady Gaga with muscles.
I've gotten that before. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I know. Yeah,
Thank
I
you. I
know that wasn't
appreciate
just
that.
me. I know that
Thank
wasn't
you.
just me. Yeah, that's not a problem. Yeah, I mean, I mean, there's men that they like it. It's just that putting yourself out there, like that you
Yeah,
like it. I
yeah,
know some people don't understand that, but it's true. Like,
it
it's
is
not,
true.
it's not, it's taboo because they I guess because women they not supposed to be hard. They're supposed to be soft or delicate, and men
Yeah,
they're supposed to be hard and stuff. So
yeah,
it's yeah, and then now we live like in a time where sometimes the women want to be men, and sometimes they want to compete against the men, and
yeah.
so
Well, that's
it can be
another. That's
intimidating too. You know,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
because like if it ain't really about brawn, it's about brains. Like it's like especially like if a woman knows more than you or she's stronger than you, it's almost like a like like she gonna look down on you or something like that. What you good
Yeah,
for or anything like that. So
yeah, yeah.
sometimes because us men we always we brought up to challenge each other and stuff like that.
Mhm, mhm.
And so
Yeah,
then when the woman comes in the equation, it's kind of complex. So
right, right.
yeah, I mean, so I have like mixed feelings about it, but I'm attracted to it. I can't
You
turn it
can't.
off.
Well, yeah, you can't. You like what you like, and that's what I said to that
Yeah,
guy. I said I tell him all the time, and like, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. But you know what I find too? If there's anybody, and I don't know, how many people will see this, but this whole thing that's going on with the pronouns and the how they want to be perceived. First of all, I've seen more people um, dressing the way they like. If they're male, they're dressed like a whatever, whatever. But you know what? I'm nice to you, and I hold the door for you, and I'm respectful for you. One of the things that I really am very upset about since COVID, because it just got worse. People drop the door on you. There's no respect. There's no hello.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I don't
yeah,
care. I don't care what you look like. I don't care if you're white. Because let me tell you, there's white trash, there's black trash, there's Indian
yeah.
trash, there's Chinese trash. There's trash everywhere. Okay.
Right,
Um, but there's also good people all over too. But
right.
it hurts me. It hurts my soul when people aren't kind to each other. So I don't ever want to make somebody feel bad. You know, if you're a bad person and I don't like you, if we're out together
Right,
and you see me going and there's somebody right here and you see me not go looking over here and not paying attention, I don't like them.
right.
I don't like them. I won't give them the time of day. I will act like they were invisible because they're bad people. And if you're arrogant, I get all the time, "Oh, you must have your boyfriend must be a bodybuilder. He must be." I'm like, "Well, first of all, for the most part, I've never liked male bodybuilders because they're
Why you don't like
arrogant.
male body? Oh,
They're just usually because what I look for first is in the heart.
right.
They got to have a good heart. If they've got a good heart, they got me. I'm in. The rest of it don't. I'm looking for this. You can have your belly,
Yeah.
okay? You know, and so I never want to hurt anybody's feelings. But I was at a party a couple weeks ago before the show, uh, uh, barbecue. Come here, you. And I was talking to this lady, right? And the lady goes, she feels the need to tell me that my upper body is much bigger than my lower body.
Mhm.
This party, and I felt like saying, you're body shaming me, and that's okay. Like I don't know if you notice, but people can body shame bodybuilders and go, oh, 15 body, oh, you're a man, oh, you're a dude,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah. I know. I
and
know.
then but yet I can't go. Well, you know what? You're a fat person
No, you can't.
with
You
no
can't do that.
discipline. You can't do
Yeah.
that, and
Nah.
it's wrong. So I just kind of laugh at those people, and
Yeah.
what are you
Well, you
gonna
got
do?
some more. You got some more comments. Yeah, at the final post down, Marianne and Tia were working the finally post down while everyone else was just stiff. I know you're not winning, but go out like you are.
Oh,
And
thank you.
yeah, he was saying that. Yeah, he was saying that they were stiff. I couldn't tell the difference because they.
Because they didn't
I
know
don't
what
know.
to do. See, I'm old
Yeah,
school. See, when we competed years ago,
right.
um, you knew you would have the girls. You knew who the winners were come out on stage. So it was you and like five other girls, and then they would go. It's time for the pose down, and then they would put on the music, and just like if you remember Arnold and those guys doing it, and you would step in front of the other one.
Right.
And so I was just making fun because these ladies were my friends, but my daughter was in the audience,
Do,
and my
do you
boyfriend.
think? No, I just gonna ask you. Do you think you need like You think you need to look at something you need to improve on, or
um I think right now I think my what I want to do right now, because I have been neglecting my health.
mm,
I have to go get some blood work done. I have a couple lumps that I got to get checked out, which is another thing. George and I were talking about breast implants yesterday,
yeah,
and I never ever ever had any problems with my breast until I got breast implants, and then every couple years it seems like I get a lump or I get this or that. So
um,
I want to go get that checked out. I just want to make sure everything's good, everything's healthy. I'm looking forward to the next chapter. I think for me, it's I got to try to improve my lower body as much as I can. I had, you know, strained hamstrings this past year. I had my knees are always an issue. I have cardiomalacia, chondromalacia. So I get the chicken fat shot in there every 6 months, which is a godsend, just to lubricate them because they're bone on
yeah,
bone. So it's always pain. There's always pain. But I do also realize that, I'm at my age and I can't push a ton of weight. I'm not going to do it. It just doesn't feel right. I think if I can go and do more reps and continue to do the exercises, it'll help with my mobility. I want to add in a little bit of yoga. Thank you, Dorian Yates. I want to, because I know that the bigger that I get, you lose that mobility.
right,
Um, and then I might next year. We'll see. We'll see.
yeah,
The jury's still out, but yeah, um, but yeah, I definitely need to do that. I could get a little bigger everywhere, but that's me.
yeah,
My lats could get a little bigger. My abs can get a little, you know, my chest. I've always had an issue getting this out, and I am strong. I mean, I was a bench presser,
yeah,
powerlifting. Oh my God, I could strong as a bull, but it's just harder for me to get, and I'm doing all the incline and think I'm doing everything right, but it just takes, and you know what? You have to realize that this takes time. Like
right,
when Robert said, you're a year out at least, and it's so true. And then this past is although it was a bad year, I was the
mm-hmm,
best off season. I weighed the most. I put on muscle. I was hard. You could see my abs all year. So, you know, so that even
yeah,
that right there is
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. I wanna show like some clips of you for the
Yeah.
viewers. Yeah,
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Thank you for
Yeah.
that.
Well, I ain't finished it.
Go Phillies!
And I do like to wear wigs and the whole bit. I just
Yeah,
think
I
it's
seen that one. I like that look.
yeah.
Yeah, you look
Let me
nice.
see if I can show you some of
You
it.
do. I mean, you have like a sex appeal. I'm sorry that like photographers like what's his name, JM, whatever
Yeah,
his name is.
I'm sorry
He
too.
don't really.
He doesn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, so there's
you
some
worked with Steve
pictures.
Shabelli.
No, not sure who that
Oh,
is.
okay. Yeah,
So I don't know if
I've
you could
talked.
see some of
Oh,
those.
yeah. He does all films. Like
Oh,
I don't.
is he gray? Gray hair and
He
glasses?
has a mustache. He's bald.
Oh, you know what? I think he's Jay Fuchs's. I'm thinking of Jay Fuchs's photographer because I
Yeah,
know.
he's a film. He's a film. Um, he's a producer, and
Hmm.
I was talking with him. Me and George was talking with him months ago.
Hmm.
Yeah, and he really respects female bodybuilders.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I probably could send your IG page to him and
Yes,
stuff.
that'd be great. I actually
Yeah,
wasn't a. I wasn't a local film a couple years ago. I'll have to send you some pictures of that.
yeah.
I was a bodyguard,
A
and I
what?
dressed like a bodyguard. And
Oh,
do you remember? Was it O'Neill? Back in the '80s, she had blonde, short blonde hair, tall built, like German girl. I basically was going after her look, and but it was great. It was
is she
fun.
was she on Rocky Four girl?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
blonde. Um,
yeah,
yeah, so I drove a car. I don't even know what kind of car it was. They had to explain it to me how to drive it because it was so fancy.
yeah,
But it was great. It was a lot of fun. It was really really cool. And that's another thing that gets me irritated. I'm like, when they have Wonder Woman or the Hulk. I know they have a girl out for that. They choose to animate the female Hulk instead of
yeah,
come on, with all the girls that we
yeah,
have now, you can't get one that can act, that can you know that can do that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I don't understand why. I personally think if they brought back, what was the Rachel? Um,
Rachel McGlish.
no, not Rachel. She could be a bikini. She was a bikini competitor at best now, right? Um,
Yeah,
no, Rachel, the Italian actress, when they had the Planet of Amazonians, that movie, I forget what it's called. If they did a movie like that and they had
mm,
15 female bodybuilders, are you seriously going to tell me that people aren't going to go see it? I mean, I,
I
I
don't
just, I,
know.
I find it hard to believe that they wouldn't.
I was watching. I was recently watch. I was talking about it. Watching Corey Everson, and she
Yes.
was in Ballistics. I don't know. You
Hmm.
ever heard of this movie? It's
Hmm.
about a female cop, and her father was framed, and so she wanted to investigate it. And so Corey Everson's character was like working for this gangster, and she was beating up the one scene where she was beating up this cop,
Hmm.
and her presence was good in that movie. She died in the movie, but you know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
her presence,
Yeah,
they
she
was
did
talking
good.
about it years ago. Yeah, they
Yeah.
was talking about it, but I never really actually seen. I think I seen like some parts of it, but recently, like a couple of weeks ago, I seen the whole movie on YouTube and stuff, and her presence was really good at it. I was like, wow, she
Yeah.
never really up her with double impact in that movie. and I think she never really had a leading role,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a shame that
I mean, I remember it is a shame. Like we had I don't have her up here. Zap. Remember that was another thing.
yeah,
American
yeah,
Gladiators. Oh,
Tanya.
love.
I forgot her last name.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
is it
yeah.
Hart?
They
Tanya
were
Hart. They were. I loved the American Gladiator. Loved them. And Zap,
right.
I met when I did a show
Yeah,
um, in Women's Extravaganza in New York. I guess '89. And it's funny. I actually just found some video, and I'm like, oh my god! I was so young and natural. I think I got second to last or dead last. But Nicole Bass was also there. Remember her? Do you remember Nicole
yeah,
Bass?
Nicole. Yeah, Nicole.
She was
Yeah,
the one on Stern.
she wrestled. She's a wrestler, right? Too.
Oh, she was a big woman, very
Yeah, yeah,
very tall woman, and
yeah.
her
I
voice
think
was real. Her voice is
Michelle.
really
Yeah,
really
Michelle
deep.
Fostita. She knows her.
Yeah,
They do like a wrestling. They when she was around,
nice. Yeah,
they did like a wrestling thing together and stuff like that.
I've been
Yeah,
asked to wrestle quite a bit. I might even talk to Michelle about that because she does something
yeah,
up in New York. I might
yeah.
do
It's
that.
called Velvet Row. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I
yeah. I
might do
was
that.
there. I
I
was
wonder
there
if they
for
do
a
any
few times.
boxing. Did they do any boxing? Like, would she do
They
that? I
do
wonder if
like
she'd do that.
not. I haven't seen that, but they do like performances where they have like non bodybuilders, like women body,
Yeah,
like dominatrix or
yes,
dances, and they do have bodybuilders, of course.
yeah,
Um, the, and the wrestlers too, but I don't boxers. I'm not sure. Not I
yeah,
don't think. Yeah, maybe
yeah.
you
I'll have
should
to
ask
talk to
her.
her. I'm gonna definitely,
Yeah,
because I would love to
yeah.
do that. I think I don't think I'll be good on the ground at this age. It's a shame, but believe me, I hate to say no because I once I get
Yeah,
into fighting, I love to fight, but
yeah.
I just I don't want to. I also don't want to. I don't want to hurt myself to put myself out. You know what I mean?
Of course not.
Because
Yeah,
then
of
I'll be
course
ready
not.
to, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got
So
all the
next
way
time we
George
talk, we
page.
should yeah, next time we talk, we should I'll go in my basement and show you my gym and all the trophies. I guess I could do it now.
Yeah,
Just walk right down
yeah,
there. Let's see it. You want to see it? I'll take you down unless
yeah,
you're ready to
yeah.
uh,
No doubt.
sign
You-
off.
you- I won't want to get in the ring with Mary Ann. I'm afraid I would get DQ for obsessive hold. And then he says, yeah, the lines are blurring between women's bodybuilding, physique, and figure.
Oh
And
yeah,
then I think he said Bridget. Yeah, that's the lady, Bridget Nelson, the
Bridget
one that you
Nielsen.
was Bridget Nielsen.
Yes,
Yeah, that you was telling me about. Yeah,
yes. Okay, let's see. Okay, here's my pro card.
yeah. What was
Okay,
the
this is
feeling
a
like when you first had it? When you first got it? Like,
shock. It was wonderful. It was it was my day.
yeah,
It was it was it was my day for sure. You know.
yeah, it's pretty.
All right,
Yeah,
so this is my
pretty
gym.
looking too.
So I got all the
Yeah,
mirrors. This is
I see you got a
this is
dummy.
Bob. This is Bob, which is really funny because my ex's name is Bob.
Yeah,
That's Bob. And got our dumbbells. We
yeah,
got our speed bag. Okay.
yeah,
These are some of my trophies. I got a
yeah.
leg press. Um, yeah, these are some of the my daughters and some of them too.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we actually just painted it and got it redone. But
Yeah, I have a question for you. Like
yeah,
you stopped at one point of bodybuilding, you came back. How long did it take you to get your pro card?
Uh, I would say 2 or 3 years. 2 years, maybe. I
Okay.
think it was two. I want to say maybe 2 years because Messina
Okay.
made me wait a year. Yeah, I think it was 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I can't. I love the sport, and I got to say another thing where I don't. I was the biggest fan of Arnold, and
Yeah.
when he got started talking about women being too muscular, and he got rid
Right.
of the last Arnold, he took away figure, which figure was always in the like towards the bikini side.
Yeah.
So he took away figure, women's physique, and bodybuilding. Okay, and said that we were all too big. I was I was so angry because I felt like he now is, now that he's gotten to all his goals, right? And bodybuilding is what made him. I mean, let's face it. I mean, bodybuilding is what got him to where, he is. And I don't know. I just, if it's a preference, a sexual preference where you like the way a girl is built better, I understand. I get that. Um, but I don't know. But we're certainly not going to see wellness disappear anytime soon, because that is just, you know. Let me show you a
Can
new
I
thing.
ask
I
you
don't know.
something?
Yeah, of course.
Like, do I don't know, like, do you guys appreciate the bikinis, like bodybuilders? Because there's some fans, I'm not going to say his name, but they kind of, I don't know, like they're not really like reluctant to talk to bikini competitors and stuff like that. And
You mean
sometimes, I
other?
hear like bodybuilders. I mean, like bikinis. They don't look at it as like as a sport mostly.
Are you talking that there's other people like men that don't look at it as a sport?
Yeah, men and bodybuilders, fans and bodybuilders
Well,
too.
I think I personally think it's changed a lot, and I think that the you're seeing bikini girls that are much more, they're working out now, they're training now, and
Right.
now you're starting to see some bicep and um, but I personally think that they should separate the bikini because you can get a young girl. You can get a young girl. I keep moving you. I'm sorry. I'm always
No,
doing
it's all right.
something.
It's all right. It's all
You can get a young girl that's what 25 years old, and they have a lot of great genetics, right?
right.
So you know, I personally think that figure I really think is their physique competitors or bodybuilders in heels.
Right.
The only reason why they go to that is because um, there's more money in it. They can make a lot of money. They can get sponsors. Where women's physique, I get told that all the time. You're not marketable. I'm like, bullshit. I'm not marketable. I'm 59 years old. Walk around. If you're 50, have a party with all your 50-year-old friends and see how many of them look like me. You know, um, it's crazy. I think I'm very, very marketable. And then you see, but yet they'll give a sponsorship to somebody that's 70. They'll go to that distance and go, to a 70-year-old, and you're like, well, yeah, good for her. I'm happy for her, but there's others. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So, but yeah, the bikini girls, I don't really, and part of that too is most of them aren't very nice. You
Mm.
know, they're the ones that I've talked to. If I walk through a show, I'll say hi to everybody, and they'll snub you,
Yeah.
and they'll like they're so much
Oh.
better than you, and so what are you gonna
Well,
do?
all the rage George Page. I've talked to a few bikini competitors, but many don't draw my interest enough. We was
Yeah,
discussing about that. I didn't want to put him
yeah.
on blast, but yeah, we
No,
was
no,
discussing about that. Nah, I
I
was
don't think
just
there's anything
saying
wrong.
that I was just saying like like because he was saying that he the emperor, and I was like, hey, why don't you like? He talked to bikini competitors, but I was just saying like, why don't you talk to more bikini competitors and stuff like that? So, because like you supposed to be the emperor. So,
Yeah,
but he
like
was like, nah,
you talk to them.
well, they not really like they're not really catching my interest, and there's so many of them. And I'm like, look, you could just get something. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he did. I think one of them was
He's
like a
good like
doctor.
that.
Yeah, he was interviewing one of them. He was a doctor, and I think he said, well, yeah, what he said, not afraid of my prejudice of bikini.
Well, it blows
Yeah,
me away that the wellness girls, like I was talking to one the other day over at King's Gym, and I guess I didn't realize, and I never really looked at the rules, but it says in the rules that their body is supposed to be disproportionate,
yeah,
which when
mm,
I started, it was all okay. And I have another picture. It was all about symmetry. To the point where if you had scoliosis or something like that, or some women just don't have that. This was me at the extravaganza. Let's see.
yeah. Wow, let me see. Wow.
So I
Okay. Well,
cut
how
my own
old was you?
hair,
How old were you?
20, 24,
Wow,
26 around there. Yeah, right. So
that's
you could
nice.
see, yeah, and you could see the base. So now you understand when I went to work and they're like, "You're a power lifter, you're a bodybuilder, you're a power." So that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, looked
It's
real
really
nice.
neat.
You do
Yeah,
look like Bridget Nielsen. Yeah,
right.
you
With
do look like.
with the short hair. This hair is driving
Yeah,
me nuts. I love it.
yeah,
I love it. It's fun, and I know and but long hair is a pain in the butt. I always liked
yeah.
short hair, and that was the other thing that went along with the muscle. I liked the muscle, and I like women with short hair. So again, Mary Lou Retton was just she was so damn cute, that girl,
Yeah, yeah.
and such a nice person, But I
Yeah,
even heard Arnold had it in. He had some disagreements with Linda Murray, who was like,
yeah, I
that was
heard.
my mentor.
Yeah,
Linda Murray, when I saw her, what what a body, just
yeah,
perfect,
yeah. I
perfect.
used to like Liz Marie. I used to have her pictures. Her, Kim Kavetsky. If I can't
Yes, Kim
pronounce it. Yeah, Chavetsky.
Chaikovsky. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
her,
And then who else? Cassini,
Diane Dennis. I liked
Diana
it.
Dennis. You know who else I
Yeah, I
liked?
liked
And
her.
matter of fact, she just died. The blonde Anja, yeah, Langer. Anja
Andre
Langer. Do you
London.
remember her? She had long blonde
Nah,
hair,
probably got to
and
see her face.
her signature pose. Her signature pose was that.
Yeah,
She would really bend to the side, but she was gorgeous.
yeah,
Um, and she wasn't all that muscular. She was muscular,
yeah.
but there was no striations.
Send me a
Um,
picture. Send me a picture of her so
I will.
I could know
I will.
more. Yeah.
I think I can. Can I do it from here?
Uh,
I know
I'm
I can
not
do
sure.
it. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not sure if I can do it. I don't want to lose you.
Anja, it wasn't Anja Longer.
Hey,
It was Lisa
yes.
Lyons.
No, not
Yeah.
Lisa Lyons. but I liked her too.
Lisa Lyons.
I liked her too.
Okay.
But no, Anja Langer she wore a ponytail. Anja. Let's see if I can find. Yeah.
Okay. He says, all raised George Page, wellness girls are closer to female bodybuilders than bikini. I'm interviewing women in figure, training to get
Uh,
some wellness competitors, but they aren't responding.
yeah.
Okay.
You know what? And that's kind of what happens. I think when you get the girls, they don't respond because either they think you're a creep or they think
Yeah,
if you're not going to pay them, you're not going to, I'm not talking to you unless you're going to
yeah,
pay me. You know what I mean? Which we all have to make money. I get it, believe me.
yeah,
But it's not
yeah.
like you guys are making any money either. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Me and him, we had we had like he was lecturing me about it, but of me paying him sometimes because
hmm
sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I do
hmm
at times, but I had to
yeah,
be cautious because sometimes when you do, some of them they still be acting up with you.
yeah,
Like a couple of times that happened. It's not always at your favor, but
yeah. Oh yeah.
so
Well, I know George
yeah,
had one. He was telling me about. I was pissed. I felt so bad for him because the girl wouldn't. She was like, "You don't have permission to use those pictures," and I'm like, first of all, they're on Instagram. They're
right,
public. You know,
right,
he is allowed to use them and lighten up.
right,
Then I started to get my mom back in the air. You leave my George alone.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
it just
I
wasn't
don't
really nice.
understand why he got like, he has a lot of women like coming to his podcast, but it'd be like a thousand followers he have. I'm like, yo,
Wow.
how is that possible, man? I'm like, yeah, I mean, and he was on female bodybuilding channel. I'm like, yo, how is this possible?
Hey, George was?
Like, huh?
George was on there?
Yeah, yeah, he did.
Oh,
He
good for
was
him.
talking with. I'm surprised he ain't tell you.
No.
Yeah, yeah, he was on. He was on the episode with Chelsea Dion and this other one. I forgot her name.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, right, right,
Well,
right.
see,
Yeah, he said yes.
I think if you guys keep going the way that you're going, um, I think I'm hoping that it'll eventually get better for all of us and for you guys, and maybe we'll
Yeah,
look back at this years later and laugh.
yeah,
But he also has that Keith on there. That I love him. He's
yeah,
such a good
yeah.
guy.
He's
You
cool.
know,
Yeah, he's cool.
very nice,
He's,
very cool guy.
yeah.
Yeah,
What was
yeah.
your thoughts on yesterday? I know you talked a bit earlier, but like
hmm
how like for you with the breast implants, like how was that for you? Like in terms of does it make you feel uncomfortable or
No, no, I'm very. It's funny. I'm very open, very touchy, very. I'll talk to anybody. My daughter's very humble.
right?
Um, I think the last time I saw my daughter naked, she was 2. I wear everything tight to me. She's more humble, wears everything loose.
Yeah,
It's pretty great. So I don't have any problems talking about this kind of stuff. I got them because when my conditioning, when I got really, really light, uh, my boobs kind of went away. And it wasn't like I don't really have big boobs, but they were just they were a little saggy, a little saggy.
yeah,
So I went and my man at the time, and he's still my man. He was willing to get them for me. So we went to the doctor, and um, what a cool thing. Have you ever done that before? Because you go into the doctor, And first thing that the doctor said was that he never worked with anybody who looked like me, that didn't
Mm.
have a lot of fat, so um, I got to try them on. So there are these like vests with the different sizes, and Carl and I are sitting at the table and we're going, you know, you know, they're like, whoa, look at those, because some of them were, you're like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
So I just went with what I had lost and literally went right back into my own bras. I didn't have to get new bras or anything. They were fuller, you know. My brother didn't even notice, which
Right.
was great. But I love them. My only issue now is I never had problems with lumps and things like that, and I have some
Mm.
now. Matter of fact, after I'm done talking to you, I'll probably go over to get a mammogram and start that process because I'm sure there's a couple things they got to look at. So that's a little scary, because they do scare the shit out of you anymore. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
but it's just funny that never had an issue, got to the implants, and then you know I had one lump. It supposedly it was too close to the implant. They had to get a specialist in. Then finally the specialist goes in, and I don't know how your experience with these, but when they do a biopsy, it's very Neanderthalish because
Yeah.
the machine, it goes in and it opens and it grabs it. It's like a gripper, and you hear it go. I mean, you hear it clamp, and I'm not squeamish, but and this guy was great, and thankfully he said as soon as he grabbed it, it was gone. It dissipated,
Right.
which means
Right.
that was liquid. It was just fluid, you know. But boy, they even had me ready to go in to talk about the I guess the oncologist specialist who my mother had died of ovarian cancer. So they were
Mm.
ready to. So I already have a nick against me. So they're all ready to call it cancer and take me down that road before they even knew what it was. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah. So, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm a little concerned. That's why I didn't want to go before the show because I didn't want to worry. Because you go get your mammogram and then they tell you you need to come back, and it's another 3 weeks of you worrying. And I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be worrying.
Yeah. I remember couple years back. I don't know anything about breast cancer too much, but there was this woman, and like she was educating people that didn't know about it, and she wrote a book, and and she was saying, white women they're mostly they get breast cancer, but and black women like they die from it because they're not really like educated or know too
Or
much
getting
to
checked.
just get checked and stuff. And
Yeah.
she was like kind of informing her. She even said males they get lumps too, and
Yeah.
they get breast cancer also. But
Well, I
it's
have a good
they
story
have to
there.
they have to check it or something she was telling me. I mean, not just me, but it was
Yeah.
like an auditorium of people and stuff. And she wrote this book, and I ever read it? I gave it to somebody because they I think they was kind of experiencing breast cancer and stuff, and they
Yeah.
appreciated that I gave it to them. That's the
Yeah.
only kind of experience I got with that.
Right, right, right. Um, when I was growing up and I played softball for years and years
Right.
and years, through when I was young, all the way up through high school and college, I had an umpire that would be behind. Now, some of my best memories in sports are the umps, okay? Because I was a catcher and they were right here. And we would talk
Yeah.
about everything, what they ate, da, da, da. After they would tell me, "You're going to protect me, right?" Because if I didn't stop the ball, they were getting hit in the nuts, right? So there was a man who helped out female pitchers. He was actually a fast pitcher in the league, and he was
Yeah.
so good. And he would throw to me, and then we would start to work with the pitchers. And this man did it for years, and I think he had 3 daughters too. I saw him not too long ago at like my granddaughter's game, and I went up to the girl because her name was Stevenson. I said, "Your name's Stevenson. Is your dad Jim?" And I'm saying his name because I love this guy, and if there's any way he ever hears this, I love you, Jim. You're the best. Anyway, and he got breast cancer,
Mm.
and I just thought, how uncanny is that this man who was so involved with women and with female sports gets breast cancer. I just thought, I never heard of it before,
Yeah.
and I just thought it was interesting. Isn't that amazing? It just
Yeah.
blows me away. What a wonderful man he was. Just very helpful,
Yeah.
just great guy.
Yeah.
So.
He says, all I thought I did, it was me, Chelsea, Asha Hadley, David Bryant, AG, and JB when he was in doing the interview. Yeah, he says breast cancer is extremely rare among men. Yeah, it is, but fortunately, eh, some do get it.
Oh yeah, sure
Yeah.
enough, absolutely.
Um, I gotta run. But it was a pleasure talking with you.
Yeah, it
I
was a
really had
pleasure.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah, it
we
was a
gotta do
pleasure.
it
I hope we
again.
can stay in touch. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah,
I have the
yeah,
gym right here. I can work out. Do a
yeah,
workout for you, whatever you like. But thank you so much
yeah.
for having me on. I'm humbled.
Nah,
Um,
I'm
your
humble
friend of
too.
George.
Thank you.
Good,
Yeah,
good.
thank
Thank you,
you.
sweetheart. Have a great day.
All right,
Bye
all right,
now.
folks. That's a wrap.